Hello everyone. So in this video, I'm going to cover the options you have to define default values for your new field or your custom fields in Odoo. So I've already created a few, all of the examples that you need to see what can be done with the default values on in Odoo. So the first one is the basic one, which is just a static default value. So here I just defined a text that will be the default when you create a new entry. It's going to be set to this value. You can go a bit further and use an actual expression directly in default. So here I'm accessing today's date with Odoo standard way of accessing it. So this means that when you create the new entry, it's going to set the value of today date to this Pythonic expression and its value. You can also use a lambda method in the default. So this means that it's an unnamed method that you're going to apply to use actual logic to define what's the default value here. So here I'm just setting it to the user of the environment, so the current user. Same goes for this with the company. Again, just a slight variation of the same logic in the default. Then there's the custom method, so you can actually call a custom method that you made. So I've made one here just to return a reference, and this is going to set it as default value for the reference number field in here. You can also define default values for the different sorts of fields. So for instance, in the Boolean, you can obviously set the default value as one of the two options, so true or false. Same goes for the selection fields where you have to enter the key that you want this to be set to as the default value. So here we set it to normal, which is the key, and not the value. So that's important, but you'll figure it out and it should be pretty explicit if you make the mistake when you define the field. And those are just to show you, well, regular fields where you don't define any default value. So I'm going to show you how it behaves here. So I'm creating a new entry. So I didn't set anything up before. And from the get-go, you can see that when I land here, it's already defined the static value as hello world, like we defined in default equals hello world. Same goes for the Boolean. It's already true. It's already checked because we defined it like so. Same goes for the priority. We set it to the key, which was normal, so it picked and it's showing the value normal. For the date, it did pick up today's date, and that's dynamic, obviously. Same goes for the environment. So those were with the lambda defaults, and you can see that I'm logged in with Mitchell's account, our dear friend Mitchell admin, and it's showing here, and it's set as the default. And his company is the famous your company, which is shown here as well. So this worked. And same goes for our method, which was supposed to return ref dash 001, and that's what we see here. For the fields for which we didn't define any default value, you see that nothing is set. One thing I didn't explain yet either is that you can define placeholders, and these are just going to be hints until the user enters something in the field. So then you see the placeholder going away, but this won't be a default value. So if you save it like this isn't something that's actually printed or saved in the DB in there, but it's really useful to show hints for the users. So this is something that you define either on the field or in the view directly. In here it was done like so. So in the field, you have the option to add a placeholder and then you enter this. But again, do keep in mind, this isn't a default value. I just wanted to show it to you because people often mix these. And so, yeah, as I've said here, it won't save anything. It's just yeah, a way of hinting for the users. And then I've just added examples of the code, but you've seen them already. So you can see again all of the options you have and how we achieve these. I think it's pretty useful and it can save a lot of time, but you do have to know the limits of these. So yeah, again, I hope it's going to be useful in your Odoo development journey and see you soon for the next video. Bye.